Okay everybody, so today I'm going to be bringing you these square earrings. They're 2-inch squares. Someone saw them in my earring display video and they wanted to learn how to make them. So I'm going to be showing you how to thread the beads before you crochet. And it's going to be a very quick video to make. It's not hard at all. So I'll be back to show you all the things you're going to need.
One day, baby, we'll be old and think of all the stories that we could have told. One day, baby, we'll be old. Oh, baby, we'll be old and think of all the stories that we could have told.
Okay guys, so here's what you're going to need. We're going to use Aunt Lydia's number 3 bedspread thread, crochet thread, and we're going to use a needle. It's called a blunt needle so that we can sew in our ends. We're going to need a scissor to cut. And I brought this tape measure so that I can show you the size of the square we're going to be crocheting. It's going to be a 2-inch square. This way is always a little bigger. It's about 2.5 inches. But it's going to be 2 inches all the way around on all sides. Oops. On all sides it's going to be 2 inches. And if you notice, we're going to have beads on the same amount of beads on each side of the square. So you're going to have a perfect square. So in order to, let me first show you the beads. These are crow beads or delica beads. Some people call them crow beads, delica beads. I don't really know any other name to call them. I usually call them crow beads. I put some in this little dish so it'll be easier to fish out, because we're going to be using this little wire. It's flex wire. You can find it in your craft store. What I do is I just wind it up so that it can give me this little loop where I can thread my crochet thread through it, and it helps me to pick up my beads and thread them, because you have to load your beads before you start crocheting. For this project, these earrings are going to need about maybe 25 beads each. So we have 5 rows of beads and 5 across, so that's 25. So we're going to need about maybe 50 or so beads. I always put a little bit extra in there in case, you know, I counted wrong or something. So yeah, we're going to load our beads up first before we start crocheting. This flex wire helps you to get the bead through the thread because the hole is not really that big. And now that we are talking about the size of the bead, let me just say that when you're buying delica beads or crow beads, you're going to see that the number gets, as the number gets higher, the bead gets smaller. So I normally don't like to use anything smaller than a 5 or a 6, because then it becomes difficult to thread on the number 3 thread. It's the thread that I mostly use all the time, or either I'll be using a number 10 thread, but I double it. I double the number 10 thread so I can get a better consistency. And like I said, remember that when the number gets higher, the bead gets smaller. So I wouldn't recommend anything beyond a 5 or a 6. So we're going to remove our wire, and we're going to make a loop, a crochet loop, once we have our beads on our thread, and we're going to be using a size D hook. This doesn't have the lettering on it because it wore off, or you could use a C hook, either one. It's 2.5 millimeter or 3 millimeter hook, size hook. And we're going to chain 12 very loosely. That will be your first chain, and that will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the first 3 chains is going to count as your first chain 3 on the row. So we're going to do a single crochet in the 4th loop right here where I have my finger. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're going to single crochet right in this 4th one. Before we do that, we're going to take a bead and slide it down. Slide the bead down like that, and then you're going to single crochet. And there's your bead. So this is your first chain 3 space right here, and you're going to chain 3 again, and you're going to get your next bead, and you're going to skip the next chain, and you're going to chain in the next one. And there's your second bead. And then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to skip one and single crochet in the next one. Oops, let's not forget our bead. I'm going to single crochet in there. Chain 3. Slide our bead down, and we're going to skip one and single crochet in the next. So we're going to give ourselves some more thread space to crochet, and we're going to slide just a few beads down closer, not too many, so that it won't be hard for you to get some thread to crochet. I usually just let it rest around my finger in this area. So yeah, so we're going to chain 3 again, and we're going to get our bead. And then we're going to skip the next one, and in that last chain right there, that's where you're going to crochet. I'm going to do our single crochet there, and we're done with this row. So we're going to chain 3, and we're going to flip our work around, and we're going to see our beads. You should have 5 beads if you chained, I think it was 12 I said, if you chain 12. And you have, what you're going to do now is you're going to crochet inside these chain 3 spaces, but you're not going to bead. So we're going to slide our beads out and get some more thread, and we're just going to crochet. When the beads are facing you, you're not going to bead. So we're going to chain 3, which we did here, and we're going to single crochet in the chain 3 space. We're going to chain 3 and single crochet in the next chain 3 space. So we're going to chain 3 and single crochet in the next, chain 3 and single crochet in the next. we're going to do this to the last one right here. And now we're going to chain 3, and now we're going to turn our work around again. So we're going to get our beads now. We're going to slide some beads up. You really don't need more than 5, so this should be enough. And we're going to slide our bead down. So now that our beads are facing away from us, now we get to bead again. We're going to skip a row every time we complete one. So we chain 3, and then we get another bead. Single crochet in the space. Chain 3, and then bead. Single crochet. So you're going to have a bead on every single crochet that you make, except for the opposing row, which is every other row. So we're on our 3rd row. One, 2, 3. I'm going to bead and single crochet. Okay, so we're chaining 3 and we're turning our work around. And so far we have 2 rows of beads, and in this row we're not going to bead. So we're gonna move these beads out the way, and we're gonna single crochet in each chain space after chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're done with that row. So now we're turning our beads away from us, and we have to bead again. Oops, I forgot our bead. I have forgotten my bead a couple of times, see, like I did there. So every now and then I flip over and just make sure I have my beads. Here's one bead here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I missed a bead there. So let's go back. Put our bead in. Okay, so now we chain 3. Beads are facing us. We're not beading. We're just going to crochet. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn our work around. And how many beads we have? 1, 2, 3. 3 rows of beads. We need 2 more rows. So I'm going to take some thread out. And we're going to bead now, so I'm going to pull up a few beads. And we're going to chain 3. Oops, wait. I almost did it again. Forgot to put my bead first. 1, 2, 3, bead. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Forgot another one there. It's so easy to get carried away with the crocheting, or is it here? Where is it? Oh, okay, it's there. It just flipped over. Okay, but it's really easy to forget to put your bead in. So sometimes, yeah, you tend to just crochet away and forget what you're doing. So just every time you finish a row with the beads, just make sure that you have all your beads in. And this is the last one on this row. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of beads. So we're going to do one more row without and one more row with. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And chain 3 and turn. And this is our last row of beads. So all we need is about 5 or so beads. And last one here. Oop, did I bead? Okay, need that bead. And then we're going to chain one, and we are finished. We have all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have all of them. And we have our square. There it is right there. So now we're going to cut this, fasten off of here. Oops. And we're going to use our needle. And we're going to sew it over so it won't unravel. Just twist it up a couple of times. Bring it back the other way. Just make sure it's secured. And my scissor would be here. I keep tripping because I'm looking at everything through the camera, and it's it's kind of messing around with my depth perception. Let's get our needle and hide our other tail. Okay, that should do it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our eel wires, you have two kinds of eel wires. You have the French style eel wire, and you have your average eel wires. I like to use the stainless steel eel wires because they don't turn colors and get all dark and stained looking, but these are okay. So I should have told you earlier in the beginning of the video that you're going to need the eel wire and a couple of jump rings. I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure you'll forgive me. And here are your jump rings. And you take your plier and you open it up a little bit. Just pick one of the corners, none specifically, maybe one that doesn't have a bead protruding from it so much. This one is good. And you there, and just close that up. And there you have your earring. That didn't take so much trouble at all. So now I have some green earrings to wear again. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for
Oh, baby, we'll be old and think about the stories that we could have told. One day, baby, we'll be old. Oh, baby, we'll be old and think about the stories that we could have told.